I pulled it, and I had to do the same thing, I had to show it, I did it myself, cost me like $500. For the pump and everything,
The pump and everything. You're on.
Alright. Last.
I pumped first.
Let that finish.
I bought it,
So you probably get all wholesale too.
and I got personal use discount.
And you know what?
A personal use discount,
Yeah.
that was for me, and I've got the pulley on the crane, so I pulled it with my Granger, so that I had it back in the well in an hour. And I did the short thing, it turns it all around, so.
Yeah.
It cleared up, it was good, and then I sent it off to tested like a month later, and the water came out great.
Yeah, they had,
We'll be here.
pool dressers came.
Yeah.
So, pool?
Pools?
I don't
They do a
know.
good job, they're a good company.
They work well with Paul's and.
Yeah.
They couldn't come that day, cause I didn't find it till like 1 o'clock.
Getting camp all that together.
Wow.
Long, yeah.
Oh, that's looking nice now.
Gaining. Big progress.
Then when do you move back up?
What's that?
Up to there.
Sorry.
Thank you.
We all
Oh, I
set
don't know
there?
if you're gonna say this is where I'm living.
Carol? Carol,
What?
we're all set.
I'm out there.
Close enough, we'll get started.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll call meeting, select board meeting of October 7th to order and start with the pledge of allegiance.
I would like to introduce to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was me.
Sorry.
Right?
Alright, so we have a quorum. We are doing, public hearings on the junkyard permit first.
Yes.
Gonna make a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Going over anything.
Yep, so this is the public hearing for junkyard permits for both Francis Frappier Jr. and Raymond Frappier. For renewal permits for a junkyard / auto graveyard permit in the town of Belgrade. We have the notice of posting and the return. The next page or somewhere thereabouts, you should have recommendations from our code enforcement officer, Hans Rasmussen, for both Raymond and Francis. And then the letters to the applicants, abutters, map. Copies of the application, all supporting documentation.
There, any members of the public that wish to make a comment on either one of these?
Now or later?
Yeah.
I just abut the property on to the north side, east side, west. West side of it. I just usually come to the hearing to see if there's any change from what has been, the junkyard handled. So that would be my question, you know, is one of the,
Yeah, he's in the hospital this evening, but we're cleaning up everything. Process and stuff like usual.
in working with the town person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really been good to have him working with, particularly with Ray, and I'm interested in more in his the property. So if there hasn't, is there a change in the application?
No.
And it looks like Hans recommended, said everything's
Yes.
been good and no changes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the latest report from him too.
Yeah,
Okay.
his report for Raymond Frappier says there's been no notices of violations issued to Ray this year. And Ray has been cooperative and compliant in his business operations.
Okay. Okay, that's my main concern, that he's actually working with him to make sure that he doesn't violate at least the laws that we have about it. Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? Owen?
Wanted to acknowledge you. One question I wanted to ask is if we have a town manager contract, yeah?
No, this is public comment on the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the public hearing from junkyards.
Nice.
All right, all the comments on the junkyard permits? I'll start with one at a time. We have a motion to accept the permit for Raymond Frappier.
Moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Spot nothing. And we have one here for Francis Frappier. Obviously, they believe they don't have anyone here to represent them. Do we wanna represent?
Yep.
Doug? Kind of.
And no change over the past year. I went up and saw him again yesterday and talked to him about it, said I'd answer any questions if anybody had them. But he doesn't have any changes this year either.
Okay. Hans said that Ashley Francis has been processing materials off the site and there's no notices of violation. Do we have a motion to accept that one?
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor of that one? 5-0. It's taken a motion to close the public hearing.
Move that we close the public hearing.
Second. Oh.
All those in favor? 4-5-0. Then we'll take into open the regular board meeting.
Move, we open the regular board meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? 3-4-5-0. Now. The public comment, which is a time for the public to generally think comments of 12 things that aren't on the agenda. And generally they aren't gonna be acted on tonight, but we can set times and dates. Oh,
Okay, so do we have a town manager contract? Sure. Because there's been a lot of executive sessions where no decisions have been made. And I think when we do that many executive sessions, there needs to be some sort of delineation if we're discussing town manager contract. It looks otherwise that we're conducting a lot of business outside of the public's purview. So. Do we have a contract, and if we don't, do we anticipate suit?
we don't have a signed contract yet. And yes, it should be soon.
Okay.
I just happened to be here in person, so I thought I'd do a public comment as well. I had noticed in the minutes from the last meeting that there was conversation, I know Dan, you suggested that there'd be some cleanup over by the West Road on the side of the road. When you come to the stop sign.
Oh, yeah.
Look, yeah, and Bruce had suggested the Knowles Road and the Penny Road, and the Wings Mills Road. My husband would like you to include the Bartlett Road. But mostly, I just wanna reinforce the thoughts on that. We have, I believe, a dangerous situation at the end of the Penny Road. Turning on to the Knowles Road. If you look left from that stop sign, you cannot see the lane that the cars are coming at you in. You can see them up above, you can see them after they come by a bush, but you cannot see them in the middle. And it's dangerous. You have to get halfway out into the lane before you can see whether there's traffic coming or not.
Is it the bushes, Sharon? The
It's
bushes
just
need to
a
be trimmed?
bush that, you know, it would take 5 minutes to cut down. At the end of the Bartlett Road, I don't know if this is on the state land or the town land, but there's a tree laying over. And I was just there this morning and I had to pull way out to see around it. And a fellow coming with a big truck and a big trailer wanted to take a left on the Bartlett Road and, you know, my husband said, he's probably mad at you, and I said, well, I can't see. There's a lot of places on those roads little places that it's not safe.
We probably ought to be doing an inventory, go around, check all the intersections, see what's going on.
Yes, we've had two, well, I know we had one as an accident, and I've seen another one just get towed out of there a couple weeks ago. By the road, 135 intersection. I don't know if I haven't come down through to see if the stop sign, you can't see the stop sign, or lots of times it happens in the morning when the sun's rising this time of year, or in the spring. You can't see, when people can't see the stop sign. So I don't know if we need to do something with stop signs there. Back further, a stop ahead sign, and then a stop sign, because sooner or later, somebody's gonna go through that intersection, blow that stop sign. Because I can't see it, or don't know there's a stop sign there, and we're gonna end up with a bad accident, that's a bad area.
So Jason, go around, take a look at the stuff. That's recommendations. Anything else? Fine.
When I was reviewing the meeting minutes from the last meeting, the section under the maintenance garage and purchase parcel. I noticed that there's a lot of improvements that are being done to that piece of property. And I don't have a problem with some of them being done, but we're allocating funds from a warrant article that was specific to the purchase of the property. And for, I think how it was worded was for a possibility of a future public works department. This looks to me like the town is moving forward on setting us up for a public works department where the citizens have not said they want a public works department. And considering the blowback from the fire department's proposal, them anticipating an $8 million startup cost in 1 year, I don't see that that is a go. So I question whether or not we have the legal authority to expend monies from an account that was specifically established for one purpose and repurpose it for other things that we would like to do. Instead of taking it out of the facilities maintenance account, which is where it should come from, because it is, we don't have a public works department. So that account was specifically set up for purchase of property, not expansion of the property, not upkeep on a property, none of those other pieces. So I want to make sure that we're doing stuff legally.
So part of the purchase of that property was, we had to buy it with the stipulation that we take care of a bunch of stuff that needed to be destroyed, hauled away and everything else.
Right, and I do understand that, but that public works reserve account was set up for a possible public works department, not for remedying the land itself. And I don't have a problem with, I know there's a septic there, and if we can tie the septic in from the existing maintenance garage, I know this is anticipatory. So to be sure that the way that we're doing it the right way. Because I do not want the citizens to think that you folks want the public works department and we don't want, but we're gonna get one anyway, because we're gonna do all this stuff. And then say, well, we've done this stuff, so now the next logical step is the public works department. So I'm not sure if we check legally to see if we can allocate money from a fund that were established for something specific and reallocate them. That's generally not been the practice. And if not, then this warrant and this needs to be revisited, and we need to see where the money is going to come from to do these projects.
We can check the legal. Because I know we bought property for down the road for an anticipated public work.
If the citizens approve it.
Bruce,
Okay, so my next thing, talking about legal, our legal fees are going up to $1,800 a month. So that puts us over the $15,000 threshold, so we should be going out to RFP for that. I think it's time to make them sharpen their pencil again, so I think it should go out to RFP. Talking on the budget side of it, budget committee side of it.
I don't know, think about. Cause I know they have a set price for certain things.
Yeah, well, our monthly charge is $1,800 a month, that threshold puts you over $15,000, or we have to go out to RFP.
Well, when we started with it, it was $1,000. Years, it's now going up to 18.
Look at that.
And I got one other thing. The map out there for the shoreline zoning, that's hanging on the wall, that says, protected wetlands. So on and so forth, my understanding that map is wrong. From a meeting the other night at the planning board meeting. So if it's not wrong, then I don't know how 6 lots got approved on the Belgrade Stream to be built for building lots, because it's in the wetland protection going to that map. So if that map is not correct, then my opinion is, as a taxpayer, we hold off any building permits on shoreline zoning until we figure out what is considered by DEP as wetland protection.
Don't have a new map, isn't that part of something we just paid for?
It is, but Teller Evans subdivision application was approved contingent upon DEP changing or pulling that parcel out of the wetland. It's not approved per se, it's contingent.
He's already
On a
gone to
couple of
registry,
things.
he's already gone to registry of deeds, and he went the next day. He had it all over Facebook.
He did the same pretty big notification, I'll say.
No, better find out about that. He's advertising it because it doesn't sound like he can, yeah.
And they're saying if that's not right, then we need to kind of put the brakes on till we have a map that shows what is right and what is not right. Because this is not the year to be asking to take stuff out of wetland protection when you're in a severe drought that most of your vernal pools, this and that are dry right now because there's no water. I mean, the lakes are down 7 or 8 feet on the shorelines.
Check on that. All right, anything else? Move on to view and approval of minutes of September 16th, 2025. Make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I did have a correction, Ernie Merkin's name is spelled incorrectly. And Susan's last name is Sites, S-I-T-E-S, it wasn't in there.
Oh,
Merkin
there are updated minutes that are on the table,
Oh, they're on the table, whoop. Okay,
but it
Spelling
doesn't have,
correct.
it doesn't have the correct spelling of Ernie's.
Maybe put it in your book already, is this?
oh, okay. No,
yeah.
it's still incorrect, it's Merckens.
But mine has Susan Sites.
It does have, yeah, has Susan's last name. But Ernie's name needs to be corrected.
With a C.
And anything else? No?
And just as a question, Dan, when we get the legal review, will that come up at the next meeting, so that if those monies need to be allocated from a different fund? Will that be?
We should be, well, it should be passed.
Could be a agenda item, I think.
Let me approve the minutes first. We're on this.
All right, so all those in favor of the minutes? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we get the stuff, it should come up on select. There.
Because I'm just, because we're already, we wanted to put it in last night, and now I give them out, so we don't just work. Sure, we should come from the email. So you should probably pull it down until.
Where are we?
Um, everything's good to go tonight. You're hearing from Corey about the second.
We'll wait till we get to that thing. All right. Unfinished business, Belgrade Historical Society lease.
I'm just wondering, we have a committee appointment, do we wanna move that up first?
Like to finish the unfinished business first.
Sharon's here. About the lease for space at Center for All Seasons in North Belgrade Community Center. This would be a 6-month lease contract, and then it would go to annually, so July 1, June 30, which would then coincide with our new fiscal year. And Sharon had asked, the only thing to change, we had a 30-day notice prior to ending the lease. She asked for 90 days, and there is also a agreement in place for the old townhouse that also has a 30-day notice on the first page, number 4. She has also requested if we could change that to 90 days as well.
What's the question, Robert? Get back here today.
Yeah, I have, I know from having served, as an ex officio member of this Center for All Seasons Building Committee and looking at the uses of space, that space is at a premium in that building. And there's been discussion about what the best uses of space are now going forward. And I'm wondering if this might be the opportunity to look at the center room of the Center for All Seasons as to sort of identify it as a shared space so that the Historical Society could use it, the Board of Parks and Rec could use it for meetings, could use it for quiet activities, not for, you know, rowdy things going on there, but could use it, say, for the homework club, for, you know, a space that would allow 2 uses within the building so that we can accommodate more children in the after-school program and also provide space for the Historical Society. So I just wanted to bring that up as a matter for discussion to see if that's something that we might want to consider.
That's already happened. It's been happening since Kristen became director. The prior director didn't do so well doing that, but Kristen is using it during the days for tutoring. She sends me texts every day, or anytime she thinks there's gonna be somebody in there, she checks with me to see if we're gonna be in there. It's really already happening as far as sharing that space. We're not telling anything, we can't tell anybody they can't stay out of it, Kristen's office is in it. So I don't see the reason to hold up a lease for the space. If there's a problem with the way we're working with the director or that type of stuff, then we need to talk about it. But that room's probably getting used more, especially in the summer, because in the summer, we're generally at the Old Town Meeting House and so forth. But I would kind of ask Kristen for her opinion on that. I don't think she has a problem. They've been using it all summer. She used it for tutoring at one point. She sent me a question the other day, if we're coming in, because she had people in the other rooms and could her staff have their lunch in there, and I said, of course, I don't think anybody's coming in. I don't see that as a problem, as much as it was prior, but the reason it was a problem prior is because usually we couldn't get into the room because of all the rec equipment that was stored in there. So, that's not happening, and we're doing fine. I don't think it's an issue. As far as using the room for other things.
Okay, because I was just, as I was looking at this, I was just thinking, well, if you lease the space, then that in a sense says, you're in charge of it. I mean, this does say that you can use it in a professional manner on days and hours approved by the town.
I guess I would suggest
So-
that we leave the lease the way it is, and if there's a problem, that we talk about it and discuss it, and if it can't be worked, you can give me a 90-day notice to move out.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying that, but I would hope that we would work together to fix anything prior to that 90-day notice, but you do have a way out of it. If we misbehave.
so if it would be helpful to the after-school program, if they could maybe include a few more children on a regular basis between 3 and 5:30 or whatever, if they would use that space as homework space. That would be okay?
I suspect they already are. If we're not.
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I mean, I'm just trying, I'm just looking at ways that
understand.
perhaps we could have an understanding so that there aren't misunderstandings and everybody's clear.
I don't think there are misunderstandings now.
Okay.
If there is, please let me know and we'll work on it. Things are going great as far as I'm. With us being in that room and then being able to use it.
Okay.
So if it's a problem, it's not something that's been brought to my attention.
Yeah, no, this is just something,
No, I
having
understand.
been on that committee and having,
Right.
talked
Right.
with you there about
Yeah.
different uses of space.
Yeah.
It just seemed like maybe this is a way to sort of
We're
formalize.
beginning our conversations on the board to try to figure out, where we can have a permanent home. But, based on some other things that are gonna be happening, I'm just not sure when that could happen, so.
Well, in looking at this, it doesn't. It says unless the town agrees otherwise in writing, the historical society shall use and occupy the premises. Is there a way to put it that shall as a shared space? Would
Where
that
is
solve the
that?
problem?
Where's that?
It's under use and occupancy. Unless I have the wrong, no,
Right, no, that's what it says.
it says shall use and occupy. If maybe we just added as a shared space. So therefore,
I will have to get my board to approve that.
okay,
And I can tell you that I think they're not gonna be happy. Because we are doing that now.
okay,
And, if that's the reason that, we can't have a lease. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. We've been there for years and,
I'm just trying to just see if that's a
I
way to work through the
understand,
wording
but,
that might be.
I
Okay, I mean, as long as you and your board are happy that kids can be in there. Obviously supervised, but that they can be in there on a regular basis and that, you and Kristen, have worked this out, then.
Yeah, I think we have, unless you hear differently.
So, Jacob Farmer, member of the Board of Parks and Rec, Kristen's unable to be here this evening. I can certainly say that there is a lot more shared usage. Not having the legalities in front of me, I think. Being more defined in how the space is being utilized for programming. The Center for All Seasons programming is growing immensely. As I think we can all see, we wanna show, the benefits and history of Belgrade and the society and everything that, the programming through the historical society, so I think. Having the legality that covers everyone, right, that's not vague or being able to be misinterpreted. Really benefits you just as much as it benefits the select board. If at the next public hearing, they said we could use it, no, we didn't say. So I think if it's written that, one entity has full control, then it can't be a shared space, right? And then any benefits that for the majority of the time where it's not being occupied can't be realized. right? It's no different than leasing a vehicle. You have clear expectations as to what that lease covers. And right now, I don't think the way it's written has that clear expectation for anyone outside of the historical society what that space can be used for.
Well, then I would suggest somebody write that up. And because I don't know what they are, the expectations are. And if you wanna do that and connect it to the lease, send me the draft and I'll take it to my board. I don't know, it's not a lot of space. I'm not sure what you're gaining. For space.
I know last year, not this year, but last year, but it was my understanding that they could take another 7 or 8 kids off the waiting list. If they had a space where those kids could do homework, so they could get them a different space. Now, I don't know this year, cause I know she's taken some people off if she's been able to rearrange it, and I don't know how long what we have for waiting lists, so.
Much higher than last year.
Yeah.
It's higher than last year?
Yeah, my understanding that they could be occupancy wise, they could be another 20 kids, even if the only ones in there are 7 or 8 doing homework, so 20 kids at $10 an hour is $200 a day. At
And those
150 days a
7 or 8
year.
kids doing homework were never discussed with me. As to whether they could do it or not. I've never said no to anything they've asked about that group.
Yeah.
So I think there's, some miscommunication, and that's fine, but somebody figure out a plan. For how and what we have to do to share it. And then I'll go back to my board with the lease and the plan, but. If that's the way you wanna do it, fine.
So, I think in just hearing this, I hear a little bit of angst in Sharon's voice. And I feel like that space was originally for the Belgrade Public Library. When Belgrade Public Library got a new space, that space was reallocated for the Historical Society. Because it is important that we were able to pull together historical documents from the town and have them in a space where the citizens can actually see them. The Historical Society requested that they be able to use part of the garage. They spent their money, they put a security system in, they revamped that garage, and lo and behold, not even 2 years later, we ripped that away. So I think if anybody is going to try to oust the Belgrade Historical Society from that space, and it sounds like it's sort of trying to edge them out, then there needs to be a clear plan in this place for where they're going. And there can be a permanent structure that is not in fluctuation. I see that the Historical Society, for the 20 years that I've been around, has always been easy to get along with. They have always been, when you request something, they have always assisted. So I get a sense that there is some behind the scenes stuff going on. And it needs to either come to the forefront, and it needs to have a conversation face to face, and if it has to be a mediation or something, then it is. But unless we are going to give the Historical Society a space that is permanent and not continually bounce them, I think that it's unfair. When they've done nothing wrong, to make them feel like they're not using the space in the way that we gave it to them to use. And we expected for it to be used that way, that it would be open to the public and they could go around and see artifacts in that. And it is not being used like that now. It has been reallocated and reabsorbed by the website, and I love the growing of the programs, it isn't anything with that. But if we're gonna push them out, we're gonna be in that situation we were in 25 or 30 years ago. When all of the information was stored in people's barns and garages, because we don't have space.
I don't think anyone's talking about ousting the Historical Society from the community center. This came from me based on my experience working with the building committee, and Jacob's been on that committee.
I was too.
Yeah,
And I heard,
yeah,
someone
and,
say that.
yeah, and you were too, and so I was just looking at this, I just looked at this afternoon, and I thought, oh, well, if this can be shared use, and I know that one of the concerns that the Historical Society has had is security, because the door, the material that's in there, except what's in the locked cabinets, is not secure because there's not a lock on the door, as I understand it, from the social room into the center room. And so, I was just kind of noodling this around and thinking, well, the rec programs need more space. The after school program, has a waiting list. They were full even before the school year started. I don't know when that was, in the spring when they had signups, they were full. And so I was just thinking, based on discussions that we've had at this committee, is there some way that we can kind of codify a shared use? And I'm not saying this is the way it has to be done. I'm just saying maybe we can have a conversation. And, I'm not trying to kick the Historical Society out of there. I'm just trying to say, how can we as a town best utilize the space? And if there is storage, there's now everything, as I understand it, everything that was in the garage at 10 Dalton is now in the basement, being stored in the basement of the North Belgrade
Correct.
Community Center.
Right.
So I don't, I think that's, is the Historical Society okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a distance for us to go get anything that we need out of storage, but other than that, that's the only thing I've heard is
Okay.
anybody saying.
So there's that space, and then there's the Old Town Meeting House, which now with there's a heat pump in there, right? So you can expand the season for programming, but maybe not for storage. But it seems like that's such a public space in the Center for All Seasons. It would be really nice to have displays in there. I don't know, are there displays that could be there that would,
We have plenty of things to display if we can ever find enough space to have what we need in there, as well as having storage in North Belgrade. There are certain things you cannot put in the basement.
oh, I understand that, papers and photos and, no, I fully
No, and I'm
understand.
just saying, and right now, the tops of the file cabinets in there are covered with acid-free boxes that contain all the town reports and that hold ledgers from Golder's store and a bunch of documents that it has to be climate controlled. So I would be the first person there setting up displays. If we can figure out how to get everything else out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this, I'm not blaming anyone for this, okay, except for that I would go back 25 years and say they might have wanted to rethink the center. But, I'm just saying that no one has talked to me about shared space. So if you want to talk about that, tell me what you mean by shared space. Do you mean I can't be in there on Tuesday? Okay, let me see if I can work that out. I'm just saying, and we're saying that it needs to be more shared or whatever. I haven't heard any of these things. I'm the president of the society.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want.
Okay, since I'm the one who brought this up on my own, I did not consult with
No, I
with
understand.
anybody, so I don't mean to insult you, I don't mean to insult the Historical Society. I think that what you do is very valuable, and obviously the town has supported it for many years. But I was just looking at the space, and in order to prevent any kind of misunderstanding, because we're all not gonna be here forever, there'll be changing personalities as time goes on. It just seemed to me that this was an opportunity to say, okay, we recognize that this is a shared space. This particular room is a shared space between the Historical Society and the Parks and Rec Department. And the Historical Society can use it for their purposes, and the town Parks and Rec Department can use it for things like, homework club or staff meetings during the day or whatever. But if it's not, and maybe this is not the place for me to have brought this up, but since we're discussing the lease, it just seemed like this is, that's why I brought it up, because we're discussing lease. So, we can move on and talk about it later if we want.
So just a question, when's the lease run out?
There's never
We've
been a
never
lease.
had
Never had a lease?
Right.
So it can stay as is for now,
Right.
and maybe one or two of the board members work with this, with their committee. And, come up with this, try to come up with something that works, somebody from the board from the Parks and Rec and, some, a select person and, and maybe, but, meet and, try to work something out and something that works for the historical society, something that works for the town. That's my suggestion. I mean, it's the only way anything's ever gonna work is you gotta have a discussion and see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me as though there needs to be some discussion on what to do. If just an easy wording, something like this is a shared space, I don't know if that is, cause that was just a suggestion, like maybe that would do it. So that we're not locking everything in as you can only do it on this day, and you can only do it on this day, and. Then we find out down the road that it works better reversed, so, but I think. Maybe that needs to set up a committee or have a day when people can get together and talk about it and then come back. Maybe in 2 weeks with a.
Yeah,
with
and I'd be happy to come to a
suggestion.
meeting of the Historical Society Board if you wanna do that, or, I mean, I don't even have to. I took the initiative, so I'm sort of taking responsibility for. Maybe overstepping my bounds, but just seeing the lease, the fact that we were considering a lease for the first time made me think that maybe we need to codify that this is a shared use. And figure out how to do it so that, there aren't misunderstandings down the road.
That probably should come from.
Or maybe we should have never asked for a lease.
Everything was good till we asked for a leave. Well, it should come from the director because the select board representative on that board just acts as a liaison. They don't bring things generally before the board. They're there to answer the questions that that committee has pertaining to the select board piece.
I'm not probably available in 2 weeks, cause I have to go out of town, but we can work it out and come back with some.
I think that. I mean, I think it's a.
Next meeting, Carol.
No, but I think it's a workable solution and just maybe needs a little more work, would be.
Do you have any display cases in storage?
We have any display cases in storage? No, the only display cases we have are at the town meeting house.
I'm just curious, because it'd be nice to grab a few more display cases and maybe put a few in here instead of these plastic tables.
We are gonna be replacing your pictures, by the way, too, we're working on that.
It would be nice to have some, cases that aren't real overly deep, but have something against some of the walls in here, so.
Yeah, a couple of them we have are bigger, we have one from the Brass Knocker, and we have one from Sybil, and those are both big and we
Yeah,
don't really wanna move those.
yeah, they're heavy.
But we have a couple of smaller ones that came from the State Museum.
I mean, if you guys end up coming, getting a hold of something. And there's room in the town, because people come into the town office all the time, I mean, might as well have some, little bit more stuff displayed here. That would help alleviate some storage.
I can't display anything at the center that's not behind glass or anything.
Right,
If it's a shared room.
Right.
So, but I'd love to do stuff down here, sure.
so this is definitely more secure, so.
Mhm.
But yeah, it'd be nice that way.
Interestingly, I've just done recently some displays on Belgrade High School. And it amazes me how many people come in and go, Belgrade had a high school. So, no, we would love to be able to do that.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll put that on, but
Okay,
we can have some discussion on that, bring us back.
that's good.
Sounds good. All right, next is Burgess property septic system, so now we can get into. that.
So as you know, we had the septic tank at the Burgess property pumped and inspected. The tank is in good shape, other than one cover that needed to be replaced. The pipe from the tank to the leach field had collapsed. So we needed to dig it up, so it could be cut to get the camera into the pipes. Stanley Septic completed that inspection this past weekend. The leach field failed from years of not pumping the tank. We are working on an updated septic plan using the tank and just replacing the bed. We did get a estimate for you late this afternoon, almost 5. From Stanley Septic. So installation of leach field, pulling and removing of stumps, and then installation of water line from the well to the building. The estimate is $9,250.
Why are we not contacting a local contractor for a leach field?
They were just there and said they would give us a price.
I mean, I would call Hollowell, I'd call some of the other ones that do leach fields all the
Okay.
time.
I got the email at 5 o'clock this morning for the septic design, and he was able to give me the price.
I think we need to check with other people to find out, well, if we're gonna use that for the maintenance garage, then we're gonna dig that out of maintenance garage funds and stuff like that, for that. Again, we don't know if we're ever gonna have the public works building there. Yeah. So you get a few more estimates.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ready?
So the water line from the well to the building, that's to the garage. It's the building that we're talking about.
We're talking about putting water into the garage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bathroom.
Yeah, okay.
Just so everybody's aware, I replaced the pump next door to that property. And all them wells are all same level and the water table is deep down low, there's only 5 feet of water in Mr. Elliott's, well, so. We may have an issue with that, but hopefully it's rain and the aquifers that's what replenish.
Do we know how deep that well is?
I'm gonna assume it's 100 feet, same as Mr. Elliott's, all of them up there about 100 feet deep.
About 100 feet?
Yeah.
The good thing is, we use that, well, we're not gonna use it for tons and tons, for the bathroom, for the.
Yeah.
Washing baths, doing dishes, laundry.
Yeah,
everything
right.
else, and,
It's just the cellularization system takes a lot of water to make clean water.
Put in the plastic toilet. All right, let's see what we can do about additional quotes and stuff. So, probably later on. Other expenditures, find out back to as soon as possible. Hold on to Stanley's quote, you set it aside. So we've got it, let me get the other ones. And now the new business, committee appointments and resignations.
You actually have an appointment for tonight. We've not had any for the past few weeks.
Alright, no appointments to Lori Holden. Alternate Board of Parks and Rec. She's here. And do we have any questions for Laura? Would you like to tell us why you'd like to be on?
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Lori Fulton, my husband and I just moved up to Maine about 2 years ago. We followed our daughter, who followed her heart and her career up to Portland. So we live on Great Pond and want to be more active in the community. We joined the Great Pond Yacht Club. So that's what kind of got me into Parks and Rec. So my husband and I have already been volunteers with the youth and the adult sailing program. And then we're originally from New Jersey and our daughter really benefited from a lot of the community programs there. So I really like, whether it's the after school program, the skating rink for public skating, like all the stuff that's being done for the town for everything from kids to seniors. So I figured that's like kind of the best way for me to get started because it's sort of near and dear to my heart. So I'm hoping you will accept me as at least an alternate for now.
And a great asset for the sailing program, community center.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is for an alternate?
Yes.
So the primary positions are
Oh, I
currently
see.
12,
Okay.
and there's 2 alternate positions.
Oh, okay.
So there's
I didn't
rotation
even
of
see
those
that.
and then voting and other.
Great.
You might have to find something for that other alternate part to fill up then. Two hats make a whole.
And so Laura, you helped start the adult program for the sailing? Is that what I?
Well, I think Kristen really got it started, but there's a number of volunteers from the yacht club in terms of instructors, so yeah, I was one of the instructors.
Uh-huh.
Those weeks.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was really, I know we've had the youth sailing program for a number of years through the yacht club and now through the town, and I was really pleased to see that there were adult.
Yeah,
There's opportunity for adults this summer, and I thought that was really great.
it was fun. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. There was a lot of enthusiasm and I think more interest in having that continue. You know, not for just, new folks, but they're like, it was 2 hours, 4 days, Monday to Thursday for 2 hours, and they got the bug.
Yes,
So they're like, can there be some sort of advanced class? Like, can we come back next year, but not go through all the basics again? So, the club looking to, volunteer our time, we're looking into that. And how to support boats and instructors and. Yeah.
well, that'll also feed into, kids wanting to do what they learned from their parents. Yeah.
I think a lot of the adults were parents. They get like, Mom, I'm so cool, you go to work.
So, I move that we approve Lori Fulton as an alternate to the Board of Parks and Rec.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. I'll just stop into the office when we're open next, or when it's convenient, and Mary will get you sworn in.
Okay, all right, great.
Right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's. Have a good evening.
Thank you, thanks for your interest.
On a new business. Historical new signage request.
So the Historical Society would like to install a new sign, and we've got a sample or what that would look like on the next page. They did follow similar signage in the village. And we have already spoken with code enforcement to ensure there are no issues with the proposed sign, which Hans assured me there are not. There's a little bit of detail about the sign. It would be a 4-foot by 4-foot, 2-sided. So anyone driving along the cemetery road in either direction would be able to read it. Plans, if approved by the board, are to work with the cemetery committee and code enforcement and grounds to determine proper placement. The Historical Society will hire the setting of the signposts once agreement on positioning is done.
The sign, the color schemes, everything kind of got to
It's
match.
white sign with black letter.
Okay, I didn't know if it had to match the rest of the town signs, which actually has some color.
We discussed that on the board actually, and we came up with this design because it's the old town meeting house. And it didn't, we don't want a lot of color. It's old, we wanted it to kind of blend in with the building and so forth, and that's the only reason, Dan, that it's like that.
Okay.
And the open part is just a
I
hanging
think that's
sign.
really good to have that put on.
Is this gonna have any lights or anything, or just
Yeah.
plain?
We have had quite a few people say that they couldn't find the building, I'm not sure why. See, or they went on the road. So, and we've been wanting to do a sign, we just have been getting around to.
Yeah, my only comment would be, I know, depending where you have it, cause if you're going into that old part of the cemetery. When we go, we always turn in front of the building and go through that first gate, just to make sure that there's still room. Cause that, if you go straight ahead, it's really rough down that far corner.
Yeah, plus the gates over, where you gotta go in front of the building to get to the
Yeah.
gates.
But other than that, it's a
I
great
did
idea.
send the, a information to fill as the chair of the cemetery committee.
Yeah.
That we were gonna be asking for this, and Bob actually sent him a copy of the sign after I sent him
Yeah.
an email, Bob Lewis, but, and yes, we will work with, you know.
Make sure you get it
everyone,
back.
yeah, to make sure that it gets put, I know that there's always a concern about that.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Yep, I like it.
Make a motion, we approve the sign as presented.
Second,
All those in favor? 4-5, make sure whoever does this, the setting, make sure they do the dig safe, make sure we get a copy of the. Stuff, especially with all the electrical lines and everything stuff that way. Be good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you.
And can I just say something before I leave? Dan, I would be more than interested to talk to some people about what we can do in here. From the
Yeah, I
historical
mean,
society, so just
think-
let me know when
I
anybody's
think-
checking it.
Making some of these plastic tables that look cheap, stuff just kind of go away.
They
Store.
have they have the
I
public.
mean, these things back here are ours too.
Right.
We let you use them.
No, you don't, you put ribbons on, so nobody sits.
Oh, it was nice, when the public skating was out here. My daughter came in and saw her great aunt on the wall.
Oh,
Who
okay.
she's named after and thought it was the coolest thing.
Right.
Came home, so she was all excited, so the more the merrier around.
And I tend to go towards people, you know, I think people like to see people, it rather than just a building or something like that, so. You know, I may put something together for the high school classes that have graduated and stuff for them. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sharon.
I don't know if there's any room down at the library, but I mean, at some point, if there's a small piece down there, we could rotate stuff in every 2 or 3 months. Just for people to look at, it's just a small piece.
Have a sign on it, says, from the historical society, so.
No, it's just that the more you can display, the better off, yeah.
Okay. And people like it.
I love history, so,
Yeah, you do.
Okay, thanks.
thank you. Alrighty, next one, item is permit fees.
So we have a request to place a warrant article for the January 2026 town meeting to authorize the Board of Select Persons to adopt and revise the town building and land use fee schedule last updated in 2004. That was Article 32 of the 2004 town meeting. Attached are recommendations from the code enforcement officer and a comparison fee structure from surrounding towns for the board's review and consideration.
Okay, just one question and somebody can answer one way or the other. I agree going up on the permit fees. I don't have a problem with that. It's just on the driveway permits. It says you have to get a permit when they're widening, I can understand that, but resurfacing existing driveways. So if you resurface, if you put an inch or 2 inches of top gravel on top of your existing driveway, you gotta get a permit.
We do that now.
No, you don't. No, I've never gotten a
We
permit.
had a resurfacing on the West Road and they had to come get a driveway permit.
Well, I can
I'm
tell you.
pretty sure, Mary.
Most of the contractors in town don't get a permit.
Well, so this is Mary, and you are supposed to get a permit when you are resurfacing. Whether people do or not, I don't know. But the way that the current driveway permit states is that when you are resurfacing your driveway, you are supposed to get a permit for that resurfacing purpose.
Maybe the town will come fix their shoulders and.
We can make up our budget deficit.
I'd like to, I think that, but the research, the widening, I'm fine with that, I understand that. Maybe if you're paving your driveway, maybe we should, that should be permitted, but if you're just putting, filling potholes, in my case. I was taking care of the town's shoulder, because. For 8 years, the shoulder's been addressed, and they still ain't been addressed, and You know, so I had my driveway resurfaced to match a hot top that was done a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Bruce, but that is what the current policy says on the driveway permit is that when you are resurfacing, you are supposed to apply for a permit. So, and the whole idea about this is that it's been 20 years since we've made this revision, and Roger Netto actually did it back in 2004. It's time that in order to keep up with the cost of code enforcement, then we need to start looking at the fees. Actually, Hans did this whole spreadsheet on the second page. I'm seeing a couple things on the first page that are incorrect. So sorry. But on the page where Hans did the proposed fees, there are some numbers there that are changing significantly. The board has the authority to, change the numbers or to look at the numbers. And what we want to do is just bring this forward to the board to put a warrant article forward to revise the current fee schedule for the building and the driveway permits, to be more in line with what other municipalities are doing, and to help cover our cost of what code enforcement costs actually are. So, Hans did a good job in contacting other municipalities. You can take a look at that. We want to be transparent. Initially, Hans didn't want to put these numbers forward, but I believe in transparency and letting people know what we're considering proposing, and that these fees are going to increase. But we also want to change the warrant article, because the current warrant article that was done in 2004 actually stated that to approve of the revised fee schedule as recommended by the Board of Select Persons. And we actually want to take this and we want to put it in the hands of the select persons to make increases in the future without having to go to town meeting. So anyway, but Hans did a lot of work on this, and I felt like it was time. I brought forward the licensing and permitting manual, and I know that was a lot more than a month ago. I haven't got any feedback on that, but I think that this is a start in helping to recoup the fees that we are expending, because Hans is spending a lot of time on these things. So, in hopes that the board is in favor of putting forward that warrant article for January. And, we will have this document prepared so people will know in advance what those fees are going to change to. We're not going to put this in the warrant article, but what the fees are going to be considered to be changed to. So we really want the board to look at it and to make sure that they're okay with the fees that are being proposed. It's been 20 years, like I said, it's been a long time. But anyway.
Mary, has the planning board looked at any of these?
No, but the planning board doesn't have any say in any of these. This is not a planning board thing. This
Okay.
is a code enforcement. This is a board of select persons. This is, I go to a lot of classes and they talk about, what can you do to increase or to bring in revenue to your municipality? And I feel like this is one area that has been not looked at for 20 years, and that
Yes.
needs to be considered to help recoup our cost in the area of code enforcement. So this is just one piece that I'm bringing to you this evening.
So, so Mary, with the, on the warrant article, it would just use the language to authorize the Board of Select Persons to adopt and revise the building and land use fee schedule. But it wouldn't in the warrant article have the proposed new fees. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
but we would have those available for the general public to be able to view. And, you know, there's always going to be public comment on on anything when you make those kinds of changes. But the current warrant article actually states to approve the proposed fees as they've been revised and recommended by the Board of Select Persons. We now want to put it in the hands of the select persons to approve in going forward without having to go back to town meeting. So we would revise that warrant article just a tiny bit.
Bruce, go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, I'm in favor of this. The only thing I'd like to see as you know, somebody that sits on this side a lot and is on the budget committee is, you take like principal structures. You look at surrounding towns, they're 50. We're proposing 25. I think we should get closer to the 50. You know, I think we should try to get as close as we can to the surrounding towns. We're doing this. Let's do it. If we're gonna do this, do it right. And get close to what the other towns around us are doing. And, you know, exactly what Mary's saying is it will help pay for, you know, it's not gonna offset the code enforcement, but it will help some of the other code enforcement. You know, I just think that, you know, you got the town of Rome's right next door to us, a smaller population, and we're only going to half. We should be matching it, you know, I'm in favor of all this. The only thing I just question is resurfacing the driveway.
Well, I've got a couple other questions on here, because I can guarantee, you know, it talks about accessory structures and it says includes pools, both in ground and above. Ain't nobody goes to Walmart and buys an above ground pool, comes in here, and gets a permit to put it up.
Right.
It
You're
doesn't-
absolutely right.
Doesn't say anything about going down to Hammond Lumber and buying a wooden shed. That's an accessory, that's bigger than some of these little pools, so, and,
Yeah, I mean, all we
we-
could do is put these things forward and that, you know, you get the information out to the general public to make sure that, you know, I saw somebody resurfacing their driveway today and I'm like, oh, I never saw a permit for that. You know, it's about getting the information out to the general public to make them aware that these things are in place and that you need to check with your code enforcement officer or check with your municipal office to make sure that you're complying. I mean, you know, all we can do is try to move forward. I think that it's a positive thing. If the board wants to take a look at some of the proposals and make their own changes, that's fine. But this is what has been put together, and this is what Hans has agreed to. And he did the research from the other municipalities. We decided, even though we could increase the plumbing fees, and he thought that we should do it, I'm against it right now, only because these fees right here are state compliance.
Right, most municipalities stay with the state sets on plumbing fees, even the city of Augusta, city of
Right.
Waterville, they're all $10.
There are a couple of smaller municipalities like Mount Vernon that are charging some extra fees, Reedfield that are charging some extra fees. But I think that, you know, where we're doing this increase, which is going to change things for people, I think sometimes baby steps is good.
Oh, there's another fee on here that I can guarantee people aren't coming in, because I know I've never done it. And I know Morris, when he was digging up the dirt at the side of the roads and bringing it to my house and filling in, I didn't go get a permit. I came to the town, signed the waiver for them to dump fill, but this thing's 10 cubic yards or more, you get a permit, have a permit to fill or move earth moving. I probably had 500 cubic yards put in my house over the years.
Just did it for my garage.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm in favor of increasing fees, but I think we also gonna have to look at some of the stuff that we actually charge for, because I think some of the stuff you're never gonna get people to come do.
Or someone's a little too nitpicky.
Yeah, but yes, I think we need to do the warrant article to.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask is that the board have something ready by the 1st of November that we can put forward before town meeting gets here, and that we have something to present to the general public on what those fee increases are going to be, because we're not going to be doing any referendum. Everything is going to be on the floor of the town meeting, and to
Right.
have it available in advance and be transparent to the public, I think is so important.
And on the earth moving, I'm only seeing, unless I'm missing it, earth moving is in shoreland zoning. Filling an earth movement is a shoreland zoning permit.
I think it is, yeah.
If it's just in shoreland zoning, I would leave it because
Okay.
it's shoreland zoning.
Okay, I really couldn't tell if it was. Shoreline zoning was just a review permit fee, and then this other one was something else. I just think the way this is written up, I really couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So.
And we can
Yeah.
revise it based upon whatever your recommendations are, but we'd really like to have something by November, the beginning of November, from the board that you are willing to support.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so would we then try to finalize this at our next meeting in October?
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to come up with. We're gonna change any numbers or get together with Hans or.
The 21st, or, I mean, we're scheduled for November 4th. I know we're gonna talk about changing that date, but. I'm just trying to get an idea of how quickly we need to move on this. So it would be for the next meeting in October in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, as you guys, I'm just talking to somebody sits in and watches a lot of meetings. I leave a fairly big space in your agenda to, because this will probably take some time to go through, because you seriously need to go through line for line, decide, okay, this needs to go from $5 to $45, or this needs to go from $100 to $400, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go line by line and decide and vote, you know, or make a decision or something, because, you know, like I said, I'm in 100% agreement, but I think some of the stuff is still way too low compared to surrounding communities.
Give us a list of the things that you think.
Okay.
Being a contractor, I'm not a contractor.
And I can give it to Hans still.
And let's get it here. We'll take a quick look at it.
Okay.
Right, and we can make the revisions, but Hans did do the research for the surrounding towns, so you have the comparison pricing.
But
Anyway,
it just sounds like, Mary, some of the surrounding towns though are still higher on some stuff. So
they
let's just.
are higher, but we wanted to, be fair in the increases that were going to be presented. So I think that Hans did a good job on this.
Oh, I ain't disagreeing. I think Hans is being very good at it, and
I think you're just a little too conservative.
yeah.
Where it's been 20 years, I think.
Yeah, where it's been 20 years. I mean, we're only trying to make that 5 years with some of these increases, and let's get into today's world.
I mean, the state mandates, I mean, I'd stick to those, like you talked about, with plumbing fees and everything else, but things that if Rome's charging this, I think we're gonna be pretty close to the same. Okay, see if we can get something together, get back into that meeting, and finalize this, but yes, as far as a warrant article, we can get it written up to authorize the board to. Fix the fees. Let's see. All right. Do we want to make a motion to authorize that, and that way we can. Yeah. Authorize the warrant article, that way we get that on record. I think it's that work for getting that written up. Authorized to write that up.
What is the?
They want.
Motion to approve adding a warrant article for the January 2026 town meeting to give authorization to the select board to update building and permit fees.
I move that.
As needed.
That.
The actual language of warrant article will get approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you repeat that?
Don't write it down.
She's gonna write it down after she watches the video.
Yeah. Who seconded that?
I did.
All those in favor? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Liquor license application fees.
So this is, similar to the subject you just took up. We did not charge any fees currently. We do get quite a few, applications. These are nominal fees that Mary has researched and put together that would help to cover some of the administrative costs when we get these and have to process them. Mary, do you wanna explain these?
Yeah, so it was brought to my attention at a couple of trainings that currently there are some municipalities that are charging these fees for administrative costs, which we are permitted to charge under state statute. So we've put together just some nominal fees. We do get a lot of catering permits that have to go through the process. They come from the state. I usually receive those, provide those to Lorna. She authorizes those, but we're looking to start charging or to set up a policy through the town of Belgrade for these fees for catering permits, for renewal and new liquor licenses. We currently do not charge anything. They just currently have to pay the state fee. But again, we're looking to recoup costs for administrative costs, and we're looking at ways to bring in revenue to the municipality that is available to us. I've also put together kind of a spreadsheet of what some municipalities are currently charging for those licenses.
Mary, um. I'd be interested to see what Rome, Mount Vernon, Oakland, Waterville, Augusta, what our area, in the communities that we're living in.
I am not sure that they are aware of this because I was not aware of this, but there is an opportunity that's permitted through state statute. I can research those. I'm not sure, I can reach out to the municipalities and make them aware that, hey, you're permitted to charge fees for these. So the fees that, I did document the fees that are charged through other municipalities. Some are larger, and some have charters, so there's a business licensing opportunity, like the city of Augusta, those kinds of things.
I
So
guess with everyone being so concerned over taxes going up so much and then say, and now I can pay. I just would like to make sure we're being consistent with our neighbors. And then
so
make an informed decision on that, because if we have a caterer who caters in those other towns, then, oh yeah, well now. I,
it's a
I.
$10 fee though, I guess. So Carol, I guess on the flip side of that, I see it's a $10 fee and it's a nominal fee for the amount of money that they charge and the amount of money that they receive. It's an opportunity for licensing that we're actually missing out on. So $10 for catering fee, I don't see that is a lot. But I mean, I can do the research and I can bring it back to you on what those other surrounding towns are charging. And this is kind of new. It just was brought to my attention within this past year. But I thought, again, it's another opportunity for lost revenue to the municipality. Um,
It's a really good idea.
Can I ask a question?
It is nominal.
So a catered liquor permit, proposed $10 fee to cover administrative cost. The permit is issued by the town or by the state? What is our administrative cost? for issuing a permit?
We have.
What is our process?
We have to get it, retrieve it from the portal. Am I saying this correctly, Mary?
Yes,
Mary will review it, make sure everything's filled out. She'll bring that to me. I go over it, make sure everything's completed to the best of my ability, look at that and make sure they're legal and compliant. Go ahead, okay that. Mary has to take that, put it back into the system, back to the state. Am I correct?
correct.
And say, okay, the town approves this. Other times we have to bring things to the select board for a hearing and then approval of a liquor license. So it does take a bit of time.
And is this something like the fees that we were talking about, the building fees and so forth, that, or driveway fees, that do people who are caterers know that they have to apply? And
This is something new, so we would have to,
Educate.
yes, we would have to actually get that out to people.
But if it's, is this something new with as far as a state law that caterers have to go and do this on a state website?
They have to do this on the state website, yes.
It used to be, it used to be different. You didn't have to do everything online, but now they have changed it.
So it's a requirement, if you're gonna cater something, no matter what town you go to in state, you have to go to the state website, put this, make this permit. Make out this permit
Yes.
application.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Just
They did
for a
change
liquor
it.
For
license.
liquor.
Yeah.
Not if you're catering, sandwiches for lunch somewhere.
So it wouldn't really be up to us to go to the caterers, tell them they had to do it, they have to do it, it's now,
If it has alcohol.
right?
Well, and it's always been that way, though. They always had to go through the state. So instead of going through the state portal, they used to just bring them in or send them in, mail them in to receive approval for their review. But now they have to go through the state portal, and like I said, and like Lorna said, I go through it, make sure that everything's okay, provide it to Lorna. But the board has the authority to set a policy. So the board has the authority to set a policy for these fees. These are proposed fees that we have put forward. The board, again, as with the building permit fees, can make revisions. If you think that they're too high, you can make revisions. But I think that, again, it's lost revenue and opportunity to the municipality for the time that it takes to get the work done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with them, because I think we need to start covering our costs for things we're allowed to cover our costs with.
Yeah, and I just wanted to try to understand what it is that we have to
And
do.
they are minimal, I mean, you're not talking $100 for a caterer. $10 to do a filing fee, that's a minimal. We can check with the other towns, but bring it right back to us the next meeting, but I'm in favor of it. But
And maybe we need to consider drafting up a policy and having the board sign that policy. So put it into, a legal content.
I mean, we do basically the same thing, we have fees for licensing your dogs and everything else, because you gotta cover your paperwork, you gotta cover the stuff, so. Okay. So, we can get a policy drafted up, check with the other towns and make sure we get it back next meeting. Yeah, that should be reflected on. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Next item is special funding rabies clinic.
So this is the annual clinic. We did one last year. You'll see on the expense detail report behind the memo. It covers the veterinarian, it covers gift cards, drawings, it covers funding for a goodie basket, dog basket for when people register their dogs. They get entered into a drawing, super nice. You've probably seen the pictures. Money to send out, early reminders, mailing. Gift certificate for the veterinarian. So I wanna say last year we were what, 2,700 or 2,900, Mary? Do you
What do you mean
remember?
as far as cost?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
did,
don't,
we did these little extra things,
I
but there
think
were,
we fell below last year, but this is money that is generated from late fees that can only be spent for the purpose of animal control and benefits. So we want to propose this again this year. We actually, Dr. Danner's two sons did the clinic last year. In 3 hours, we did 45 dogs, which is a lot of dogs. And they offered their time for free and only did it for the cost of the rabies shots.
We
So,
discriminate against cats.
excuse me. I'm sorry, cats aren't part of this.
Cats don't have to be licensed, so there are no late fees.
that's right.
What if that cat identifies as a dog? I used to have a cat that stared ground at me like a dog.
Customers that have cats to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
For sure, cat.
I think we ought to do it again, since we can only spend that money for this anyway, and it's a good way to
Very
promote it and get it done.
45 dogs is a lot.
That is,
Yeah.
45 dogs. It was a long, quick morning.
yeah.
Well, do we have a motion on this?
I move we
Authorized.
provide funds for the rabies clinic special event and take $29.50 from the special revenue ACO account to do that.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 85 in favor. Next, this says North South Grade Fire Station paving, but I don't have anything in my book. My next thing is a warrant.
Did I leave it out? Maybe not.
That's how they say it in the fact that even.
Yeah, not printed it. Do we need that approved tonight, Corey? Paving?
Jason's trying to get it.
While the weather's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good. What it basically is, we're adding a
Basin.
catch basin. Putting up on the fire station to keep the water from running into
It's in
the
building.
facility and flooding the station every time it rains. They're gonna have to cut the pavement. And then they could either patch it, or we could have it paved to fix the broken pavement and pave around the catch basin at the same time. I think the paving was $6,100, I do.
It was 6,000, yes.
Yeah, something like
Somewhere
that,
around 6,000.
and the catch basin is gonna be around 2,500 and probably 500 or 600 to remove the existing pavement. It is well worth it, yeah,
Do we have the money somewhere?
yeah.
Is it fire department or is it?
We can take it out of the fire department funds to get it all from you, yes.
That's the estimate.
I just want to make sure we have the money.
It's 2.5-inch modified pavement line, they're gonna be enough to hold up on the fire truck.
He said it's better than doing 2 layers. Because you're gonna put down 3.5 inches to get the 2.5, so it's very,
Yeah, we'll make sure it's gonna hold up with that tanker truck going out there.
yes,
And bulk trucks.
Hmm.
And the bulk trucks.
yeah, because we're losing a lot of pavement on the side with pulp trucks come in, but.
That's hard, because we only know.
Oh, sign line. And then you said the base itself's another 2,500. 61.
The base, yeah, he said right around 2,500 to do the catch basin.
So if we authorize up to 9,000, we'd have plenty to do.
Oh, heck yeah.
I move we authorize to spend $9,000 catch basin and the paving around the North Belgrade Fire Station.
Second.
All right. Those in favor?
He's gonna change the grade also. Travis and I and Jim met up there, we we marked the pavement, so hopefully we'll be able to plow better closer to the building instead of leaving slush next to the building, because the plow won't hit it, so hopefully changing the grade, dropping it just a tad will help us in many ways.
It's just you got the whole building up, so it's
I know.
higher.
Yeah, you know, if you just. Change out the doors.
Normally you go back in there in the winter, you're on the ice and you just kind of coast in. Once you start, you're going.
Yeah.
You wanna have the door open. You're gonna slide right in.
I have new seals too, Bruce, so stay off them.
You're pretty well committed when you hit reverse.
You don't get reversed, just hit neutral.
Yeah.
You hit reverse, you're going for a ride.
All right,
Okay,
That's a story station. There's no law.
I know, well. we're up to do it.
next is other business, do we have any other business?
The only thing, I included it in my town manager report was the next. All day voting is November 4, which is a scheduled meeting for you all.
Oh,
So you may want to consider changing to do Monday the 3rd.
Scheduled for us. Election day is always on Tuesday.
yeah,
Yeah, and so we usually do it a different day.
Yeah. We either do it before or we do it for a week,
Well, the next week,
After, so-
Tuesday is Veterans Day.
yeah, so.
We could do it on Monday, the 3rd.
Fine with me.
so we're looking at November, let me just check.
November
Yes.
3rd.
Or get fire training changed.
Yeah, we have fire meeting that night.
Election day. I can do it either Monday or, you can't do it Monday, is that, your association meeting?
Yeah,
So we go to the Wednesday, which is the 4th, the 5th,
Wednesday would work.
anyone else have a conflict? Are you flying that day, Barbara?
No, but there's an RSU school board meeting if anybody cares, and it's also a day off. Or Thursday,
That's a planning board meeting.
They just do it the Wednesday.
Or you do it the week before, is that the other choice?
so if we do it on a Wednesday, then staff, like Mary wouldn't normally be working, so. Does that create,
Zooms in a sheet.
I know, I'm just saying, is that an issue for staff who might need to attend if we do it on a Wednesday? It's the day off.
Not a problem to me.
Not a problem?
Nope.
Okay, so Wednesday.
Fine with me. Wednesday.
Wednesday works.
So we could do it the 28th if that's not a conflict, right? The week before,
I can't do that,
Tuesday?
I can't do that day.
you can't do that, okay. All right,
That would give you three, 4 weeks.
Six.
Huh?
What time?
So the fifth as the usual time.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be daylight savings time too.
Good.
And
While I'm thinking of us and talk about dates, I don't know if I missed it, but I never did get back on when the budget's not set up, the things, like what days can you?
20th and 27th.
And we had said 6 o'clock, is 6:30?
Yeah, because Dan, you said that you would be
I
here
don't-
6:30-ish.
Right, I
Could you get
don't
out?
get out until 6 on most days, so you just need to get a rest depending on how they shift me. But there's no guarantee I can be here at 6:30 either.
so do we agree on the November meeting so we can make a motion to vote it?
You need a motion that we're just
Huh?
changing the date.
November 5th.
November fifth, that we did?
Yeah.
So do we need a motion? Or no?
Like, so changing the,
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, we're enough ahead.
yeah.
Okay,
Tuesday to Wednesday.
all right. I'll move my meeting.
So on those 2 Mondays, the 20th and the 27th, it would be better for me if we could start at 6:30.
6:30 is better for me, any meeting, so.
Is everybody okay?
Are we meeting both of those nights or are we picking one?
Okay.
Okay.
What is it, the 20th and what?
The
27th.
27th.
'27th and the 5th.
20th.
Are we done with other business? Because I have a question if we are.
I believe so, go ahead.
At the last meeting, we talked about, CDL licenses. And was there a way to protect the town's investment if we paid to have someone get their CDL license? And Freeman got back and said there is a way to do it. She's done it for other towns. She's usually done it for other towns when they're paying for paramedic license or EMT licensing.
Mhm.
And it's a sliding scale if you, and I'm making up numbers, but if you say, okay, you know, it's $5,000 and you need to stay with us 5 years. If you decide to leave after 3 years, then you owe the town X amount of dollars, and it's sort of like a contract that's signed. But there is an availability, there is a mechanism that we can use. She's gonna send me a copy because she had not sent me the copy and I reminded her today. So just as we're thinking about budget planning or whatever, if that's something we need to do, that there is a way for us to look to have that happen and have it work.
And we're getting pricing for that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can cross that off my to-do list.
Okay,
If anyone wants to get this, yeah.
so that's it first.
I know that's how private companies do it.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
how
it,
we do it.
other business.
That's how we do it in our business.
Yeah,
Move on to warrants.
Have a good night.
Night, Courtney.
Yeah.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Jacob.
Say, take up to you.
I get a little bit stronger.
What are glasses?
We'll see if they work.
hey,
Ready. Third one is warrant, 113, the amount of $21,597.33 to AP warrant.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion on that one?
Heroes on Wheels did a great job.
Yeah, Very good.
I thought
Very
it was,
good,
I thought
very
it was
well
excellent.
received.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't be here, but.
I ate one for you too.
Okay. Gee, you must have read my mind.
Yeah, you're in mine too. It was good.
It's good.
It looked like everyone had a good time,
It was,
so.
it was very, very nice.
So all those in favor? Warrant 13 is approved. Warrant 114. $30,520.42. Payroll warrant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion on the payroll warrant. And none, all those in favor? 5-4, 0 against. Warrant 115. $28,724.60.
Move to approve.
That's all the payroll warrant.
Second.
Questions on that payroll warrant? All those in favor? 3, 4, 5, approved.
Not sure if any of you guys have windows down, but it's actually raining.
Woo-hoo, yeah,
Nice, maybe walk. for
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Did this afternoon.
Warrant article number 116, it's an AP warrant for $7,769.11.
Move to approve. Second.
No discussion, all those in favor? 5-0.
That one's 17, Dan?
That one was 16.
Okay.
17 is a bigger one. That's an EP warrant number 117. $199,377.84. 115. Anyone find anything on that one?
I just got a couple. Just
So we get a.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Okay, page 2,
No.
attorney fees.
Oh, that's more.
So the 1,800 is in there for already, so we're already paying the 1,800s, just so you guys are aware of that. The 10,000, I'm assuming that was to do with everything on the sale of the Burgess property loan.
Yes, they had to do a title search.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a whole bill
Yep,
for that,
yep.
okay? Now, that'll be coming out of that, to purchase that property.
Correct.
And then there's another one on here, Shaw. Revenue Trust, I'm assuming that's to do with the trust fund.
That's planning board.
Planning board, okay,
That next one down too, Bruce. Oh, yeah.
that's not attorney fee.
Oh, okay.
All right, I can go to the next page where it's generates the main too, yeah.
I was just talking about one more.
Yeah, that's capital project, planning board legal fund.
Okay.
Yep.
I hadn't seen that name, but
Yep.
that's it for me, I just wanted you guys aware that we're already paying the 1,800, so. Just don't know if that ever came to you guys to let you guys know there was an increase or not. It was kind of shocked us at the budget meeting, it was quite an increase.
Yeah, have we seen an update from them? So
We
when we get the updates when they.
we did talk about that at the last budget meeting, for 25, that they were going up. And they agreed not to put that into effect. April, May, after, March town meeting. So they kept it at the lower rate a little longer for us this year.
So, yeah.
So we went from 1,000 to 1,200.
I don't know what the
500.
actual progression was, the amounts we could get that, but we are upwards something, I think.
All right, we also, I guess we gotta find out what it would take to put things out to an RFP, because I'm not really sure how to do with that one. Got one town lawyer that has all our records.
We done it, when we went to the monthly thing, we did it, you guys, well, the board, I don't think you guys are on the board then, all of you, but the board did an RFP then.
I mean, we do it for other services.
All right. I mean, they may be the only one that bids on it, but it's just, all it is just to clarify things to the taxpayers, you know?
Yeah. Anybody got anything else?
I just wanted to bring to your attention the Yankee Trophy order. It was for $99.50, and to note that this was an Eagle Scout project, and I use preservation money because I thought that he should be recognized. But the flag box that is sitting out in the front of the office, we're actually getting a plaque to put over that flag box because it was an Eagle Scout project from one of the troops that was a combined Belgrade Sydney troop. And I'm sorry I forgot the young man's name, but just to note to you that there will be a plaque over that flag box that sits in the lobby.
Nice.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor? 4, 5. This one is one article 118. That's an AP warrant, $8,948.07.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion on that one? No, all those in favor? 4, 5. That's one payroll warrant, 119. $24,938.69.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion? No, all those in favor? 5 in favor. Manager reports.
One thing, I'm always appalled when I look at the cost of, I think it was the electricity at the Center for All Seasons.
600.
Have we asked for an energy audit recently? I mean, I know we're talking about maybe doing some big things, but are there any grants, or is there anything that we can at least have them come and, if it's been a while since we've looked at
I
it?
think it's 3 or maybe 4 years ago they did an energy audit there, because they just changed all the lights.
You know,
You can
my house
remember.
runs 500.
I
My house runs 500.
Yeah.
Cost, electrical.
Electric
costs,
is not-
I know it has, it just seems like,
Yeah.
is there
It's-
anything that we could do in the short term, and if they run an audit, come out
I don't-
and look at it?
I don't know, I know Efficiency Maine probably won't do another audit this quick. That's the problem.
No, cause that was fair.
That was just recent. I mean, they just changed the lights in there 2 years ago.
Okay, that's my question, how recently have they done that? Okay. Mine is 660, he would be close.
Yes, so, the budget committee meeting held September 22, the next meeting is October 14 with the budget committee. Select board budget meetings are scheduled for October 20 and 27.
Excuse me, and are those with the budget committee as well?
I think we did them with the budget committee last year.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comprehensive plan committee meeting is scheduled for October 15. One-on-one leadership meetings with staff, September 22, October 2, and October 7 were held. Attended the verbal judo class through MMA in Portland on September 29. Held a department head meeting, that's our monthly meeting, October 3. The ice cream fundraiser for the emergency fuel fund raised $357 in spite of heavy rain.
Yeah.
It was
One
probably,
day,
it was
one
probably
day.
that day.
Yeah.
Annual Employee Appreciation Luncheon held September 26th, a wonderful day. Thank you, select board members. It was really, our employees really loved it. It was.
And it was a beautiful day.
It was
Yeah,
beautiful. Fall newsletter is completed, that was picked up from the printer last week and mailed out. The digital version is available on our website. They give you a link for that. I think some of you have already mentioned you received yours in the mail. The trail grant application was completed and submitted September 26th.
And I just want to say that Lorna deserves huge kudos for pulling that application together. And we had a lot of help from Dan Woofter at Seven Lakes Alliance and from Grania Shaw. But Lorna was really the glue that brought it all together and figured out how to submit it online through the state portal. And it was a pretty complicated process to go through.
Department head presentations will resume in November at a regularly scheduled select board meeting. Updated tax maps have been received. The online GIS maps have been updated with additional information extracted from Trio this week. The request for the speed study sent to the Maine Department of Transportation for the Dunn Road, the West Road end, no updates. I also reached out to David Allen about trimming bushes on 135 as you approach Mine Hill and West Road. No response yet. We're awaiting final updates on the field use agreement for the Workman Field, and then we'll bring that back to the select board for review and consideration. We still have a notice posted to fill the local health officer appointed position with no applications yet.
North Bend. The updates on the field use agreement, are those coming from the committee, from the Board of Parks and Rec?
Board of Parks and Rec, KWIS,
And KWIS.
and then us, yeah, this office. Absentee ballots are available now. We're also, Mary's doing in-person voting. We add that to our sign out front. We have had some folks come in this week. Voting for the November 4 referendum articles will be held at the Center for All Seasons, 8 AM to 8 PM. Mary's done a great job. She keeps all of that information updated on a link on our website. You can find that by going to the voting section. We already did that one, consider changing our meeting date. Picked up 2 street signs from Signworks, Cavelli Drive and the new Adair Lane. These, along with the town line marker for Route 135, have been installed. The Cork and Cow has been approved. That's that new business down in the village. Approved for a change of use through the planning board. A public hearing on the new liquor license application will be scheduled for your October 21 meeting. Communications policy updates. A meeting is scheduled to continue work on revisions, so this can be scheduled for review by the board tentatively in early November. Employee handbook updates. A meeting is scheduled to review and finalize recommendations for the board to consider at an upcoming meeting. Earned paid leave updates. We call this EPL for short. What is earned paid leave? Maine law requires employers with more than 10 employees to provide 1 hour of paid leave for every 40 hours worked, up to a maximum of 40 hours per year. This leave can be used for any reason, including sick or vacation time, and may be subject to a 120-day waiting period for new hires. Employers must pay this leave at the employee's regular rate of pay. The law covers some seasonal part-time, but not permanent part-time employees here in Belgrade because they fall under our vacation policy and sick time already, and per diem employees. Seasonal employees are considered seasonal if they are hired and only work between June 15 and September 15. If a seasonal employee is hired and begins work before June 15 or otherwise works beyond September 15, then earned paid leave is accrued for the entire time. This is something to be aware of during the budget process and schedules for next year, particularly for July budgets and for those working beyond the deadline and during holidays. We are currently working on budget impacts as well as changes in the employee handbook. We are working with legal counsel and we'll have a draft policy soon for review and consideration. This is an important issue for all departments that may be stretched already. And I also provided, this is over 1 page information that actually came from Bernstein Scherf, which is our legal team, about key changes for that EPL.
Any questions? That part of the regular schedule program,
Think so.
we have still have updates for
I do.
executive session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
so I move we take a 5-minute break. Between sessions. Okay. Or 2 minute.
Call it 5. Second. All those in favor? 4, 5.
You want me to turn that off?
Is it different? Can't get battery. So yeah.
See you, James. Thank you for coming.